I can hear someone's phone vibrating.
Yeah, that's me because you guys, I don't have my notifications switched
That's not the
off
phone, baby.
on
Ooh.
Thingamabob Slack. I was getting
Set
so.
it to
All right,
vibrate
there we
and
go.
finish
Stream
yourself
configuration
off.
quality is excellent. Hang on, everybody. Hold your phones,
We're
bitches.
fucking live!
We should actually be
Oh,
live
yeah.
this time.
Yeah, I've got an ad, so I'm assuming there's something coming up.
You what,
Yeah,
mate? There you
there's an
go.
ad
Fixed,
coming up.
confirmed. All right, intros 2.0. Hello, everybody. Roll for Perception is back again. Ah, and I got a notification on my phone as well. So, in your face, fools. We're back.
Should probably mute my stream, eh?
Maybe just a little bit. Classic. But here we go. Roll for
I
Perception
do
is
love
back.
listening to myself, though.
Mate, I'm trying to intro this over here. Anyway,
Oh, there we go.
yeah, we're working. This is live on the interwebs, and then it's going to be made into a VOD, and then it's going to go over to YouTube so everyone can watch it again. Bam. Sold.
Oh, I'm gonna watch it so hard.
Oh, watch the living daylights out of it, mate.
That's pretty hot.
It's
Da
pretty,
da.
it's fairly
Da
kinky.
da da da. Da 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 da.
Rick's here, everyone. Woo! Nova Terra, we have called this. It's not a reboot, it's a whole new setting that Space Master Ash is devising as we go. And it's all of us again. Roll for Perception. Have you got your reverb machine, Rick?
No,
Bummer.
I'm low tech.
Well, you let the team down.
But anyway, we're kicking it off again. It's been a good while, and it's going to be really, really fun. And I think we've all been really keen. So, we did this off
sure.
camera, but should we do, again, a quick hello, introductions, how have you been, whip around? Who wants to go first?
Let's do it. I'll go. James, as always. Been looking forward to this for a long time, so I'm pretty ready to go.
That about settles it. What are you laughing at, mate?
Fantastic.
Next.
Do it, Ash.
I am the Ash. I will be Space Master. I learnt a lot from our first sessions, trying to play this game and having fun. We did have fun, but I think I got a little bit of a burnout from a GM perspective, and everything was a little bit too open and sandboxy. So I have devised a bit of a limited scope scenario to get started, and then hopefully in that limited scope we can do some fun things and then expand out of there into greater scope stuff. But the idea is to get these guys, these buffheads here that I'm playing with, to really coalesce with one another in a functional and awesome form to some sort of megazord or whatever, in order to combat each encounter and get through the game.
Now, can we or can we
so-
not have a Megazord?
I don't know. You can probably find some pieces
I might try build one.
of.
I buzz being the Black Ranger.
What a bunch of conks.
Bunch of things. Careful how you pronounce that as well, by the way. So,
CONC,
conquer,
as in conk.
conquer,
Eat.
concrete. Everybody is what it means. Or construction. No, conk is concrete. That would make more sense. Anyway, oh, the roleplay gamer.
Yeah.
Say some things.
So, Rick.
Hey guys, I'm the roleplay gamer and I like to party.
Oh, you had to go there.
That's all I got. That's all I got. Because that's all I say all day, every day, forever and always.
You've been,
Existential crisis.
and you have a channel for anyone who doesn't know,
I do have a channel.
Tell
I
the
have one of
people.
these things.
because you're gonna get so much traffic from here, so you may as well get it out of the way.
I'm not, but I appreciate the thought.
You could be making videos right now. You could be playing No Man's Skyrim.
No, I couldn't. No, I couldn't.
Oh, you couldn't anyway.
Don't get me started. Don't get me started on other topics, because I will derail this stream in an instant, young man.
Well, all the big boy streams
I'm-
talk shit for about half an hour before they, actually play a
suppose
game.
that's
So,
We don't
Most
have.
do.
but that's in anticipation of
Get
viewers
cracking.
rocking up. So we don't need to do that. So
Yes, but yes. And you all right, Kluger? You been well?
Oh man, I'm tip top. I'm actually itching with anticipation, not only for this, but my, as of right now, channel's at 994 subscribers. So I'm waiting for that fourth digit to tick over. So things have been awesome, exciting times, and I'm buying lots of music gear also.
I am living vicariously through your channel's gains right now.
Man, your gains are pretty good too. 10K's sneaking up for you.
Oh, but it's like it's a fresh new world for you. It's so exciting.
Oh man, that YouTube money.
I'm not even
quitting my job,
joking.
bro.
I'm not even joking. I look at your channel all the time and I'm like, where's he at?
Oh, dude, those feels.
How's he doing?
Just stop it. You're making me feel all warm and tingly. All right, enough of this bromance. Oh, don't! Come on, we'll get banned for inappropriate content.
We'll be the bad boys of Twitch.
So, do we want to cover off a bit of the world stuff first, and then we'll get into the characters?
I feel
Yeah,
that
so
makes the
session
most
plan.
sense. Yeah, like a session 0 / setting the scene. I would guess Space Master would be where we're going to head.
Yeah, so like I said, limited scope as we kick off here. It's not a huge departure from the what you guys have already experienced. It's just going to be, instead of there being a massive open world with hundreds of planets and heaps of different species and races and heaps of spaceships and activity everywhere, it's going to be really localized. And then you guys are going to kind of level up to probably level 2 or 3, and then be sort of exposed to a greater, slice of the sector. It's also just keeping it small and fun to get started, and then if we can get some good momentum, then we'll go to we'll build from there. I think we just kind of started the last game with just way too much openness for a bunch of noobs who aren't experienced role players. So I figured this time around should be easier. It's not like it's going to be a railroad, but it is going to be like a very sort of defined setting. You guys can still kind of go off and do what you want, but hopefully it'll be in line with the setting and engaged with the setting rather than like I think what happened last time was you guys got really interested in your own backstories, which was great, but then there was no sort of cohesive, group approach that was happening. We kind of just sort of fumbled from scene to scene as a group, and there wasn't much of this working together thing. It was, so I'm hoping that we'll, this will turn out to be, it might end up feeling a bit more gamey as well, and a little less storytelly, perhaps, but there'll still be obviously like flair and fun stuff to do. But it's just a bit of a different approach this time. So just to get started, let's sort of set up the setting of Nova Terra.
Just quickly before we kick off, is everyone settled on their names? Because I can put those on our faceplates.
Faceplated, baby.
Done. All right, cool. Take it away, bro. Sorry to interject in your words.
No, that's fine. So in the Stars Without Number canon, basically humanity spread out through what was the psionic powers and stuff, and
Do you mean the
look at me, no, the scream was what killed all the psychics.
Yes.
But there's a timeline here somewhere. But basically, I'm not saying that we are in or not in the Stars Without Number canon. I'm kind of just saying at the moment, as far as the setting is concerned, it's not. It's like immaterial. But if it does sort of like later down the track, sort of go like, oh yeah, you are part of the timeline. Here we go, boom. It's let's worry about that later, I guess, if you know what I mean. So, but for the most part, all of the assumptions around what sort of classes and characters and stuff you can be, we'll retain all of that. So basically.
Sorry, I nearly lost you guys there for a sec, so I was panicking. We're fine.
So humanity let's have a look. Where are we? We're talking jump gates and stuff like that. So, powered by teams of Sci-tech. That's the phrase I'm looking for. So there's a whole bunch of Sci-tech that helped humanity build awesome, equipment and spaceships and jump gates and all of this fun stuff to go colonize the universe. So this Nova Terra setting is centered around one, branch of humanity that sort of went out on their own to, stake a claim in a dark part of the universe, the unknown part of the universe, and so the scream happened. Yep, a lot of the psychics at that point in time died and whatnot, went insane or died, and so it's just kind of at that stage now where some people have there are some psychic abilities starting to show themselves, and there is some medicine. There is some known medicine to keep it in those symptoms under control, but there's no real teachers. There's no real mentors, particularly in this setting where it's effectively an isolated human colony. That think of it like the solar system here, and there's one planet where the primary colony is, and then they've reached out and they're starting to mine and gather resources from the other sort of orbital bodies. Like the solar bodies, the planets and the asteroid belts and gas giants and rocky planets and all of that sort of stuff. So ultimately this setting is it's like one team. All the humans are here to survive, and if they all rely on each other, and if someone lets the team down, then everyone is let down. So there is this, culturally over the generations, there's this sense of, it's us against the universe. We're here, trying to keep the flame of humanity alive. We've lost contact with, the back on Earth and, the Terran Mandate or the Terran Council or whatever they were from the canon. So over the generations, there's been less and less value placed on, where we were, and it's all about let's focus on who we are now and trying to build a foundation for civilization to spawn up again, effectively. So there isn't a high population in the colony. I'm yet to determine the exact numbers, but it's suffice to say that it's enough that the gene pool doesn't sort of collapse in on itself, but it's also not like overly populated like Earth is. So there might be one or two primary colony cities or like spaces where there's enough population and sort of like what we'd think of as a modern city here, but for the most part the colony is spread out amongst numerous outposts. There's scientific outposts, there's resource and mining outposts, there's engineering platforms. So there might be like an orbital platform somewhere where they're building like the resources are brought back to, they're building whatever it might be, like the next ships or the next there might be some space stations they're trying to construct or whatever it might be. We're not sure yet. But the colony is sort of like split up into like 5 main streams. One is the resource and the miners. I think we've called them Quanta. So that's like effectively like a business or an organization. There's Tomlinson Innovation, who's the or TI, I think we'll call them, who are the engineering division, and their job is to design and build all the things. Going back a step to the Quanta, the miners, they're trying to really just open up all of the get access to all the resources and minerals that they can get their hands on, because it's pretty much limited. It's like we can't build everything that we want to. We haven't found, it's not the same mineral set as the old and original Terra, original Earth. So we've got to figure out how to work with these things. How do we, so it's still sort of. I guess there's this sense of exploration still. There's a sense of things are new. We're finding weird and wonderful and strange things that we never presumed would exist. There's a science university division of the colony, which is all the researchers and experiments, and basically they're driven to push the intellect and intelligence of the colony, hopefully to unlock some of those technologies that we relied on in previous generations, because at the moment there isn't really a spike drive that's you guys can't travel between hexes at the moment. If you were looking at a sector map, you guys are pretty much confined to one hex. So these science guys are doing the best that they can to effectively unlock some secrets there to propel the humanity or the colony, which is called the Nova Terran Council, or we're gonna give it an acronym if you like, NTC. Yeah, you know me. And so there's the science arm, and then there's this other there's like a religious arm called the PCNC, the Prismatic Church of New Castellonius. Did you
name the Starlight? Oh god, I gave it away. Did you name what the research place is?
I didn't, because I don't think I can. How do you say it?
It's Renigo Starlick.
Renigo.
Yeah, Renigo Starlick.
What is that? That's just two words joined with a hyphen. That doesn't sound like a science.
It's two names.
It's two names, no. So it's two surnames.
Doesn't make any sense to me. Why would a science organization be called two surnames?
Because Starlick's mad like that.
I think it'd be called SU, Starlick University or some shit.
If it's just Starlick, it's probably better, let's be honest. That's a throwback for anyone who might be wondering and has not watched any of our other content. Starlick was the best NPC that ever existed.
Call it an Easter egg.
If you can find Starlick, just go and enjoy his craft. It was
Anyway, so the other arm here is these neo-Psi, what I've called neo-Psi Taoists. So they're built on the Taoist principles of yin and yang, and everything sort of ebbs and flows, and you've got to work with the universe, not against it, sort of thing. But they're also very science driven. So the science, the university, Starlick University, and the church are actually probably got some links there and some close relations, because it's effectively the science. It's almost like like a religious respect of the sort of the science and the things that they're uncovering. And does that make sense? So it's a very scientific religion,
sure,
per se. And there's and so they sort of set up the basic principles and the right and the wrong sort of stuff, what's acceptable in society, that sort of thing. And then so that's four of the arms. The fifth arm is the council itself, which is comprised of I guess more like local local parliament sort of thing. So it's where decisions are made about how to expand and how to what buildings to build next, and what are the challenges we're up against and how do we overcome those. So it's kind of like the I guess the leadership team, if you for want of a better word, that ties all of those other arms together.
Mm-hmm.
And so so this colony, Nova Terra, have little to no crime. basically because everyone's trying to work together to succeed and to achieve the goal of getting set up and having happiness and abundance and being at peace and exploring. Part of the university and stuff that would have art and music and things like that as well, because that's obviously an expression of there's what I mean. It's just a normal part of exploring knowledge and expression and stuff like that. So it's a very I think, what was the phrase you called it, Kluger, the other day? Utopian.
Yeah. Well, at least a
it's
utopian
an attempt.
ideology without necessarily being utopian. I
Yeah,
suppose.
like
It's not necessarily
trying to-
utopia.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're trying to
It's an
cover.
attempt.
Yeah, they're trying to give the humans everything they need. They're trying to cover all of the bases, effectively.
Yeah.
So my interpretation then, just to get in the right headspace, is it's not. Is it a bleak looking colony that we're in? Is it struggling at all? Is it resource poor, or is it like pretty okay living, like pretty middle class?
It's I think now, after a few generations, there's a level of comfort and middle class. It's sort of that could be felt.
Almost
but
like
it's
suburbia.
Probably in the primary colony, like townships or cities. Again, there might be 2 or 3 of those, but not too many.
But does it still
But
retain that
definitely-
kind of frontier town vibe?
Definitely.
Kind of makes
It's
you
not.
like go waltzing into picket fences or anything like that.
No. It's very, I guess, pragmatic, and there's not much luxuries and stuff like that. But there is an underlying sense of happiness and peace. People are at peace, and everyone's got a job, everyone's got a role, and there's not, money isn't what people, place value in. Currency is called coin, but it's the current, like, if you think of our current modern world of capitalism and possessions, and possessions define who you are and all of that sort of stuff. Like, you want the nice car and the nice house and that sort of thing. That doesn't really apply in this society. The more accountability you have. So if your job looks after, or is accountable for a very critical piece of keeping the colony alive. Say, for example, if you're looking after life support systems in one of the colony, or on a couple of the outposts, the fact that that's an important job, that's something that people strive for. That's people want to be in positions of importance, and it's not a matter of power. It's not a matter of wealth. It's a matter of, I'm really good at what I do, so I'm accountable for keeping all of this stuff, ticking over, and that contributes to colony growing and being safe or being secure or being healthy or something like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. It's kind of like utilitarian then, I guess. So it's still pretty like hard living, I suppose. You still need to do your job, and there's not much else to do, sort of thing.
Yeah, and people are very invested in, like, I want to be the best at what I do, and whether that's mining or engineering or sciencing or religioning or diplomating or whatever.
Religion.
You know what I mean? Like, it's
I religion hard, man.
All the religion. But yeah, no, I think I'm
It kind of
getting
makes
a
me want
picture.
to be a preacher now.
So
Yeah.
preacher, man.
So the idea is the setting is meant to be purposefully simple, in a sense. I'm not trying to bring in a whole lot of conflict and stuff as part of the society that you guys are born into, because we'll in a way, it kind of, I think, as the story unfolds and we introduce like these concepts later down the track, it'll be it'll be cool, I think, and I hope you guys dig it, that you'll effectively be reacting to these situations like you've never really experienced a lot of this stuff before, right?
So
So if when shit hits the fan and when things get complicated and when there are conflicts and when there are criminal temptations or amoral or immoral temptations, like you guys will be like, wow, we've been living a sheltered life.
yes,
Look at all this cool shit we can do. So, like, I'm kind of purposefully setting it up so it is kind of bland and simple to get started, and that's where that's where your characters are born into that sort of bland and simple world, so that when the colorful texture stuff happens later on, you guys can really embrace it and really get into it. And I don't know, it's just
so we get thrust into conflict instead of being born amongst it, sort of thing. Like sheltered in this society, and then later on down the track, kind of who knows.
I think the main thing is that we develop a backstory together.
Yeah, well, this will
So,
definitely
like,
achieve that, which is cool.
Yeah, exactly. We each have our own backstories, but we're driven to a common goal because we develop our stories as we go.
yeah. And so the idea here is, as well as you guys would have a deep camaraderie no matter what happens. And there is a trust or an honor, or there is some sort of that sort of flavor to your relationship just from the get-go. And that's part of, if you look at a lot of other games where it's, you're playing a particular setting or whatnot. I know that playing Call of Cthulhu a few times, the printed materials that you might run through, you're given a choice of 5 characters, and it's kind of pre-gen and their relationships are already set up. But it's a matter of, like, it's good because it gives you guys something to build from. You don't have to exhaust your energies trying to figure out how it all works. It's like, oh, well, we can assume that all this is cool and this is how we work together, and this is the equal footing that we're all starting on, and then whatever happens later happens. So anyway, I'll yeah,
Cool.
I'll shut up for a sec. But I think a couple of other quick notes about the world. Personal ships, starships, spaceships are very, very limited and quite rare. The majority of the ships that do exist are industrial, generally speaking. So they're either transporting resources from place to place, or they're like colonial supply ships that might be transporting food and water and medical supplies, that sort of thing, between locations. Generally speaking, it's very sort of I don't want to say commercial because that's not how the the society works, but it's industrial and supply, and you don't really go on holidays and stuff like that, but you might get posted at a different location, and you'd probably hitch a ride on one of these sort of larger ships. It's obviously more efficient to move a whole bunch of shit over at once rather than smaller ships that move a little bit and you've got to go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. So they're trying to always look for efficiency and trying to look for in a way my personal life has gone through this agile methodology sort of stuff in terms of software development, but that's kind of how I'm looking at this colony as well, is effectively an agile colony. So what is MVP, and what is the least amount of effort for the most amount of gain, that kind of mentality, because that's you don't want to waste energy or waste effort, especially when you're not sure if you're going to be able to grow that next crop, because where are we getting water from? And you know what I mean. It's been real hard and real challenging, so you've got to make the most of what you got.
I would imagine by this point their processes would all be pretty defined.
Yeah, so I think in those couple of those 3 major locations, definitely there's some sort of sustainability in place, but on the outposts and on the on the ships, on the mining mining platforms, space stations, and stuff like that, it wouldn't be sustainable out there. They'd have to have these supply runs and all this stuff, bringing stuff from the, from the surface.
Yep.
Surface locations.
So
the
where
next few,
do you stand on land ships?
like grav ships and stuff.
Hey, give them legs if you want. Just like a big old thing that like crawls across the land.
You want a mech,
We
don't
call them
you?
crawlers.
Secretly.
I'm open.
No one has said the word mech. Those are your words. Okay.
So what sort of size and scope? Because I'm open to that idea.
Oh, enough to transport a hefty amount of tradable goods per se.
Yeah, I think that would probably be realistic in the sense that on one of the say the planet that's got at least two of these. I'm envisaging on one of the planets, primary one has got two colony locations, like primary like larger locations, and all dotted around that world would be science outposts or farming outposts, or there might be an engineering area. So yeah, it would make sense that but it's definitely not like the east coast of Australia where you've got a whole bunch of cities and towns and stuff everywhere. It's not spread out like that. But I think there's probably limited land transports, but it would make sense that there are a few out there. I kind of when you described that earlier, I was thinking Howl's Moving Castle.
Well, there would have to be some
but
sort
I'm
of
not sure if
land,
it fits here.
like there'd be for the purpose of like farming, etc. There would have to be some sort of
Oh yeah, there's
Well, there'd be
machinery and what have you.
Yeah, there'd be traders, almost like tuck shop traders, going from like outpost to outpost as well, selling ciggies and shit.
Vices to help
probably
the colony get through the day.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that would make sense, I suppose.
Where can I send you guys a visual without like corrupting the stream?
Slack.
Okay.
Jump on the old Slack. So, like, are we going back to the canon of Stars Without Number without imposing it on the game per se? Would it be like approximately we're living tech level 4 with like but no access to spikes because of where we are, or is it more like a more primitive tech level than the rest of the sector at large that we can't necessarily access?
Where is tech level listed in the PDF?
Oh, now that I don't know. I just kind of know it by memory.
Well, I'm not particularly sure about all of the tech level stuff.
Well, like tech level 3 is approximately what we are, like as like our Earthen society, and tech level 4 is like post-tech, grav vehicles and energy weapons and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think it'd be limited TL4. Yeah. So there'd be some grab stuff, and there'd be some post-tech stuff, definitely. There's you guys are mining crazy stuff on gas planets and asteroid belts, and so there is spaceships and stuff as well. So there is a level of post-tech, but definitely that I guess advanced end of the TL4 is there might be knowledge of it, but there might not be the engineering processes to build that stuff yet, or there might not be resources to actually use to construct that stuff yet. So
yep. Cool, that makes sense. Awesome.
So, yeah, it's definitely a frontier world. One of the notes I made here is it's a bit like Mad Max, but not apocalyptic. So there is, you know what I mean? Like there's that sense of, it's almost like despair, but not quite.
Yeah.
It's almost like everything's so scarce and rare. You just got to really, really do what you can to make do. But the Nova Terran Council is all about, all right, let's get established now. Like it's been a few generations. We've got to support a couple of 100,000 people, maybe like 500,000, maybe coming up to 1 million or something like that in total for the system.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of pressure now onto to just get things really sustainable, so that there isn't that frontiery feel or that Mad Maxy feel. So they're trying to move away from that into a more comfortable zone. There's one broken jump gate in the system, which is how I guess humanity arrived. Actually, that's probably a grey area for me in my knowledge. Did in the canon did jump gates just transport a ship from A to B, but there was no gate at B? It was just like, oh, the ship arrives at B.
No, I think there has to be a jump
Maybe
gate at
not.
each. I think that's just general sci-fi trope, is that there's gates that you
Yeah,
jump in
that's
and out of.
that's my understanding.
Yeah.
I think
Because
it's
then you
like
have
the
like gate ships that go ahead.
yeah,
That's
it's like
fucking
the
cool.
it's like the it's like the Mass Effect. It's like the Mass Effect model.
The
There's
relays.
one at either end.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
cooler than that because relays are not gates.
Yeah. It's more like Stargate relay.
Yeah, bro.
And
gates.
so that's kind of all my notes at the moment. I did have a note here about potentially there might be some bandit clans and stuff out in the rim.
Yep.
But
Ricky always want to roll heal characters every time.
but there's at the it's nothing to speak of, particularly at the core, on the core cities and stuff like that.
Yep. Cool.
Yeah, definitely no bandit raids or anything like that
Yeah.
happening. So
Cool.
I hope that sets the scene a little. Any questions? AMA, go.
I think I'm getting a pretty good vibe personally. It'll probably unfold itself as we play to a certain extent, just as we get a feel for it. So, but I think I've got the general idea of what's going on, which is really cool. Anyone else?
Awesome. No,
What
I'm
is
all
your
good.
favorite flavor of ice cream?
Ask him
James.
anything, I guess. Yeah, you're playing.
Uh,
I see what you did there.
Vanilla.
I don't even know. All of them. Why are we answering this
Macadamia
question?
That's right. Yeah, I didn't intend you to. I said go on, James, as in like ask the question you were going to
Oh, classic.
ask it before I interrupted like a jackass.
No, I was just going to say, so all our characters would know each other, I guess.
Presumably.
Yeah, I mean, let's go through the character build and description process now. We'll take
Sure.
it one player at a time. We'll
Yep.
just iron you guys out, and then I guess we can quickly have a workshop on how long you guys have known each other for, and let's not overcomplicate it. But some of you guys might have known each other since kids, and others might only since adults.
Yeah.
Or, I don't know.
No worries.
But generally speaking, everyone feels pretty,
Connected.
connected.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Because they're Anyway, so maybe we kick off with Rick because you haven't rolled up your character yet, and the other two have.
At least mostly. No, I haven't completely done mine, but the
Mostly.
backstory and general idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yep.
Rick's got the most work to do, so let's go through.
Classic.
Yeah.
Classic.
So in Roll20, we're gonna. You've got your character sheet, I think, so far.
do. Mm-hmm.
Have you got that open and ready to go?
It's ready to go.
Sweet. And you updated his name to Guy Powers.
Yes.
Cool.
Next.
By the way, good
Right.
guy roleplay gamer rather is hosting the stream.
Aw.
Just an FYI.
Less than 3, mate. Less than 3.
Roll that's right.
All right. So we'll just go through and I'm going to delete all your shit, and then you can
Cool beans.
roll up. You want to roll up? Oh.
Roll up so much. I think I'm hosting
Oh, I
too.
love it when you roll, baby.
Yeah, I'm hosting. I'm hosting this shiz.
You better be hosting.
Hey, there's someone here that doesn't know us yet. Unmade Gaming. Hello, person in chat.
Hello.
Who isn't speaking, but who is present on the chat at
Don't
this
call
time
them
now.
out. Don't. That's bad Twitch etiquette. I'm told.
Is it?
Yeah. Pretend they're not there. Shh.
Damn it! Hello, no
Yeah.
one.
No, see, I'm making light of it, but yeah, supposedly that's bad Twitch etiquette.
Oh, fine. But I see
Don't,
heaps of streamers
don't
do
call
it.
out. Don't call
Focus,
out the
gentlemen. So, Rick, you're gonna roll 3d6 6 times.
Okay. 3d6.
Yeah.
Is that the latest
Strength.
movie technology?
No,
Okay. How do I do this? So it's like there's gonna be a slash in here somewhere.
slash
And there's
R
probably
Slash
space.
R, yeah.
So that's, okay. D6. Is that what we're talking? Or there's like a 3d6. Is that what we're talking about here?
Yep.
All right. See if I embarrass myself. It totally worked.
Hey.
Nailed it.
That's pretty average. It's nice. So that's your strength.
Love it.
If you want to roll it, I'll just punch it into your character sheet for you.
Okay. So another 5 times, presumably, for all my main things,
Yeah.
eh?
Intelligence is next.
So good. I'm just going to copy that shit.
I think you can just press up. Oh,
You can just press up.
Pressing.
Apparently I'm
Pretty
quite,
smart, bro.
Quite. Oh damn! I was hoping for like
That's low
massive
dex, man.
dexterity. Apparently I'm a simple
I think that's -1.
clumsy
Yes.
savage.
Slow and clever.
Slow and clever.
This is so much
Wins
like
the
real
race.
life.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay. I hope I got like charisma through the roof. That would make my day. It's okay.
12.
Roll for charisma.
Roll for perception.
You can
Running.
move points around if you want, so you can take, down to 15.
Or you can bump one primary attribute up to 14.
Well,
as
he hasn't
well,
picked a
once you
class
pick
yet.
One, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
So are you going to be expert, a warrior, or a psychic?
Refresh me on the expert. Give me elevator pitch.
They pretty much they get more class skills, and so they can level up things quicker.
Yep.
And I think they get on when they do level up, they get more points to spend as well.
Mhm.
Their trick is that they can re-roll a failed skill check once per hour. So you can, if you fail something, you can re-roll. Oh, I'll try that again. Oh yeah, look.
You've
With
sold me.
Control
I'll
Alt
be an
Shift
expert.
S. Yeah. Okay. Sweet.
So that means
experts' prime attributes are intelligence or charisma. So you can bump charisma up to 14, which gives you a
+1.
a +1.
Nice.
And if you wanted to, because really it's all about the modifiers. It's not so much about what the actual score is.
Yeah.
As far as I can remember.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to, you could drop your dex back to 0 instead of a -1 if you moved a few points from int over.
Okay.
That's something that you
I
wanted to do,
will
or did you want to
that.
go with the pure dice roll, and just role play the unco?
I'm happy to do a bit of that for my int down to 13 and just like at least not trip over my own face over here. That'd be great.
So you don't get to stay on a +1 for int. You got to come down.
Do I
So
have
16
to?
and 6. So it's like you're just moving points across, right? So
Yeah.
you took off 3. Is that right? And put 3 on.
Yeah.
2.
Wait,
It was 2.
hang on.
So you were 16 and 6.
Yeah, I
Right.
was 16 and 6.
Well, you'd probably have to bring the 16 down to like a 13, so there's a 0 modifier to make the -1 into a 0 modifier. Like that would be balanced, wouldn't it?
I think it's just moving single points over.
Yeah. Well, that works there. So then I retain my
Yeah.
+1 to int. Okay. I think I
Let me just
nerfed
double
myself
check.
too hard.
Hey, we can do it that way. Like they don't have a massive influence on rolls anyhow, so just to even it out a bit. We're scrubs, mate. We're scrubs. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
Scrub
All good.
tier. Scrub level.
Sweet. And so your class is the next. And so I guess now you're at that stage of picking background packages and training packages.
Mm-hmm.
So have you got your rulebook open as well?
I don't even have it.
Mate.
Uh,
Mate. Jump back on
think-
Slack. We've got it in there.
Okay.
So whilst Rick is digging that up, and page 13 is the start of the background packages, Callaway Parker.
What a
Yes.
What
name.
did you get up to in your... Yeah, it's a killer name. What did you get up to in your character build?
So effectively, I have chosen a expert. So essentially, he's he works with the research institute in the colony, and his main job is to tranquilize local wildlife so that the researcher team can study them. So he escorts researcher teams out to study the local wildlife, and he
Cool.
primarily uses a long range rifle.
Okay, so did you select a background package and a training package yet?
Yeah, so my background package is one moment. So my background package will be researcher.
Cool. So you have like a foundation in actual science and in researching and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So you've got
so,
some smarts.
Yeah, so perception, science, and tech.
So they go from -1 to 0.
Yeah. So I'm just going to write that in. Researcher.
Which tech?
I haven't chosen yet. So perception. Was it science? And I've got culture world as well.
So we haven't named the world yet. I thought we could workshop that as a team.
Yep. So I'll just put culture world 0 for now. And then tech. I'll actually go medical.
Okay, cool. So I would very happily accept post-tech and astronautic if you wanted, but medicals, I suppose if you're on that escort thing, it makes a lot of sense to be able to do that as well. Yeah, cool. I like how that's shaping up.
Cool. And as far as background packages go, I have chosen.
Oh, you mean the training package?
Sorry, training package. Yeah. So I have chosen. So I chose adventuring expert, which lets me choose any 6 skills essentially.
Ah, cool. 4 of which must be expert class.
Okay.
So if you scroll up to there, you've got your class skills are all except for combat, tactics, and tech sci.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe.
So you could take 2.
Oh, hang on.
You could take 2 combats if you wanted to, by the sounds of it.
Yeah. So that's fine. So my choices there were combat, projectile,
Yep.
combat, primitive weapons.
Combat primitive. So what does that cover? Because I haven't.
Knives, spears, axes, like hand-to-hand stuff, basically.
Yep.
And then the rest I was going to put. So another one into science.
Yep.
One into navigation.
So that's 0. Yep.
Yep. 1 into persuade.
Yep.
And 1 into.
Was stealth one of the ones you were talking about?
So yeah, stealth is one of them. Oh yeah, stealth would make a lot of sense. Yeah, so stealth as well, and that's
Oh,
it.
that's cool. Okay, sweet. Is there a movie character or someone you've got in mind that sort of represents Callaway Parker?
No, actually. Yeah,
Cool.
he's
We'll have a
he's
think
really
about it.
yeah. So
Even if it's
he's
a
really
mishmash of like 2 or 3 characters, it'd be really good for the team to
Yeah.
to anchor in on a example or like a trope
yeah.
or something.
So he's almost like a Sam Neill from Jurassic Park, like a researcher.
I like that. That's good.
Yeah, but
Adventure researcher.
he's an adventurer and a researcher, but he's a sniper effectively.
Sam Neill meets Indiana Jones.
Meets like the sniper from Saving Private Ryan.
Or I was going to say, there was a game I used to play on, like Xbox original. I can't remember. Is it Hitman? No. Yeah, that guy's fully weird assassin though.
But I did put a picture on my character sheet as well. So
cool. Yeah. Cool. All right. Can you just talk us through your attributes as well?
Sure. So I've got to do rolls. So let's do that now.
Oh, so you've built your skills without doing your rolls first.
Essentially, yeah. I know exactly what I want to be, so.
Oh.
I've done the same thing. It's all good.
Ah, cool.
Kids these days, what are you going to do?
Let's go. So starting with... Oh, sorry, go on.
Sorry. I was
Just
gonna say,
hello to Unmade Gaming, who has announced himself. Welcome to the stream.
Oh,
You may
hello.
continue.
Cool. I was going to say I did dig up a alternative character generation process written by the author of Stars Without Number. It's like a life path generation process. So
awesome.
It's a bit late in the game for me to suggest that we do it, but I'll share the where you can find that with you guys offline. But it's kind of more based on another system called Traveler, which you can die in character generation and you have to start again.
That's amazing.
So hardcore. Anyway, so yeah,
That's the only way to play. I refuse to play anything else.
I'll punch your numbers in, and you roll them.
Okay. Awesome.
So strength.
So.
Unmade Gaming, we've been playing for this is our first session of this campaign, but we have previously run part of a campaign in Stars Without Number, and that lasted a couple of months, so we've got some experience.
It's con and
that
charisma.
5, bro.
Ooh.
Dang. That's a good roll, though.
So.
Oh, whoops.
That was one too many.
Yeah. So charisma is 15.
Classic Callaway. What a cowboy.
That's what a sniper really needs. 15 charisma.
Yeah. Just because I'm feeling generous, do you want to swap charisma and dex?
I sure do.
I can do that.
But in exchange for dying during character creation.
Well, no then.
So I'll do that for you, man.
Cool.
The other thing then is you can bump. Oh.
No, I've got it.
Bump,
I left it. Yep.
You can bump a prime attribute up, but because I've given you a swap, I'm not sure if I should do this. No, I'm thinking you won't be able to bump up charisma. You'll only be able to bump up intelligence.
Yeah,
so.
no, it's fine. So I wanted to drop strength to a -1. So
Why is that? What were you going to do?
So I was going to drop strength to a 5.
And so move those 5 points somewhere else.
Yeah. And put 5 points into intelligence.
Well, I was going to say you already have 14 because that's the only prime attribute you could bump.
Okay. Right.
So wisdom is the one that's linked to perception, by the way.
Yeah, I wanted to drop Constitution as well for
Wow.
wisdom. Yeah.
Whoa.
This is an interesting build.
A very cerebral fella. Sniper. What even researcher? Research
I
guide.
have to drop. Yeah, so I have to drop Constitution to a -1. Yeah.
It's pretty much just moving point for point. So as far as I can tell, if you take one off con, you can put one on somewhere else.
Okay. What was my con at before? Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 12. Okay. Yeah.
So many
Take
numbers.
2 off con and put 2 on wisdom.
Yeah.
3 off con.
There we go.
Yep. But you've also got in intelligence, you've got 1 point extra to move because you've got 19, I think 18 max.
Okay, cool. So I'll put that last one just back into con, I guess. Hang on. No. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you can, 14 to 17 is a +1. So if there's not really anything
So
else out there.
what's a 0?
0 is just average. You just don't get a bonus when it's
Oh, sorry. What point range is a 0?
8 to 13.
But
So
I think these fancy new Roll20 sheets actually will just put in the number and it'll automatically give you your modifier. So that's pretty slick.
They've updated it.
That's correct.
That's so kinky.
Okay. Yep. So I'm at I've only got a -1 in strength. The rest is 0 or plus.
Cool.
Yep.
That's some clever choices there, I think. I'm all right with that.
Cool.
Actually, does it say you can do it multiple times, as much as you like?
I don't know.
I don't know about swapping, but there's only one prime attribute bump.
Hang on a sec. We might have to go back a step here. No such modifications can lower a high score below 13 or raise a low one above 8.
Right. Okay. Right.
So should we? Sorry.
Well, we swapped Dex and Charisma. That was a separate. That was an outside of the rules thing.
Right.
So I can't raise my Charisma to. So can I raise it to 8? Can I not?
Okay. So let's go. If you don't mind, we'll go back to starting positions.
Yep.
Then 8, 5, 11, 12, 15, I think.
Yep.
So what it's saying is you can't raise below 1 above 8. So you can only take something up to 0 or from a positive down to 0.
Yeah.
Can't go into the next. You can't.
Oh.
So you can either flatten things out.
Yeah.
That's probably fair.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I gave you the
I've
swap
swapped.
of. Yeah.
Yep.
And then intelligence gets the prime attribute bump.
Yep.
From 8 to 14. And basically, because I gave you the swap, I'm not going to let you adjust the charisma.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, no, that's still pretty cool
Let's
though.
go right here.
Yep.
You got 2 +1s, Dex and
Yep.
Int. Yeah. So, Kluger, just before we move on to the next bit, are you what's your class?
I want to be a psychic.
Okay, cool. We'll come back to you in a sec then, because I was just going to say for the two experts, you guys will have uh, James, do you want to run off for a moment and I'll move on to Kluger? Yeah, cool. All good. So, Mr. Kluger,
What's up?
let's hear about Ellis. How do you say his last name?
Alordan.
Alodan.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
kind of
cool.
like imagine like a Middle Eastern kind of influence to the last name. Would be the pronunciation.
Cool.
What do you want to know? Like background or just kind of general idea of his role in the oh my god, colony?
Well, the sorts of notes that I'm taking is around background and training, as well as like that, like when James described Sam Neill meets Indiana Jones meets a sniper, that
Sure.
really helps me anchor in on that flavor of that character.
Sure.
So I'd totally recommend
Well,
getting to that point through your chat. Yeah.
well, he's the colony's, or maybe one of the colony's, engineers slash technician slash mechanic, kind of a bit of a jack of all trades. I kind of envision Ellis as a really obsessed, just tech head. So he's just really into, like, he fixes machines and whatever needs fixing, but also just in his spare time just keeps messing with machines. So he's kind of just an obsessive engineer. I did also pull up some artwork for inspiration, which I posted on our Trello board. The best... I can't really think of a good... I can't think of a really perfect analogy for like a movie character that would match him. The best I could think of off the top of my head is if you've seen the movie The Book of Eli.
Haven't seen that, no.
Okay, because that's very kind of frontier worldsy, and Tom Waits' character plays the engineer, so I'm imagining him, but not Tom Waits' age, like a young version of like a really gruff, like not so
Cool.
bothered with his visual appearance. Like wears the same jumpsuit every day. It's functional, but it's like pretty worn in certain areas, and has some patchwork because he doesn't really want to get another one. That kind of idea. Visually, if it helps, his right arm is cybernetic or like some sort of prosthetic replacement, and has like faded scars in a variety of places because he's not always super careful with when he's on the job. So he's a bit banged up. But that said, he's still probably like late teens or early 20s in terms of his age. So yeah,
Cool.
If I may butt in here for a second, when you started describing your character, and I was thinking like I was tempted to suggest, and maybe the old guy from Mystery Men, the mad scientist, played by Tom Waits again.
Oh really?
So it's pretty much the exact same.
No
I'm pretty
way.
sure. Hang on.
That's pretty weird.
Yeah. Hang on. Tom Waits, Mystery Man. Unless I'm smoking something bad. Yeah, it's the same guy.
That's wild. That's really weird.
That's so good.
So background, I was gonna, after a lengthy discussion, do a modified version of the Urchin background, but I've been rereading the background packages, and probably just straight technician makes a lot more sense for Ellis. So I'll probably choose that as a background, and training, because none of them really fit. I'll probably go adventuring psychic, which just lets me pick any two skills, one of which must be a class skill. So I can make sort of a jury-rigged psychic engineer kind of vibe. And that's pretty much it without going even further in depth with the notes I've taken.
So that's kind of cool. So like a psychic jury rigging mech tech head.
Yeah. Like, I imagine him using, and like he's not explicitly aware that it's psychic ability. Maybe it's just something he's just gotten used to. So like he
The
grabs
engine speaks to him.
or he can't reach the multi-tool, so he just drags it over with his mind, something like that. Instead of getting up, he just yeah.
So how does Ellis deal with the symptoms of MES though?
Well, I'm hoping that through the lore we can perhaps it is diagnosed, perhaps misdiagnosed as something that does help maybe the physical symptoms stay under control, so he's not a crazy, deformed thing. Maybe there is advanced enough medical knowledge in the colony to help him, or maybe this colony is aware enough of psychic conditioning of MES to keep his psychic condition controlled in some fashion.
Yeah, I think because like these guys are aware of it's humanity, a branch of humanity. They know that psychics were a thing, and they made their way here. But then a couple of generations ago, or actually, don't quote me on that just yet because we haven't quite figured out how the timelines match up. But there would definitely be knowledge of psychics, but most of the psychics would have died out in the Scream.
Yeah.
So as they're trying to all of that sort of sci-tech equipment that they would have had and would have been using to set up the colony would have basically stopped working. Mm-hmm. So they effectively, maybe that's part of the story. We can find out what happened to some of the sci-tech that they were using to maybe do some terraforming or some weird shit. Cool. But I think they would have medicine and knowledge of the medicine, but I'm not sure if they would have a big supply of it.
Mm-hmm.
So there might be a small handful of other psychics in the 500,000 of the colony.
Sure.
So it would probably make sense that you know a couple of other psychics, but they might not be like the idea of the reason why your characters as players are special is that they've got that adventuring, there's something special about them. So there's something that sets them apart from everyone else, which is why they're the main characters of our story. Whereas the other psychics might not be as main charactery. They'll probably be more NPC,
sure.
Layer sort of level. Anyway, so your background was
technician. But maybe with an exemption for exosuit. I'm not sure of the application of that skill in this setting.
No, it would definitely be a thing if exosuit would be, because there is, like I said, the orbital stuff happening. There is, ships traveling around, taking supplies, getting stuff set up in other parts of the system.
Cool.
So definitely exosuit's a thing.
Sweet.
What was your training package?
It was just going to be adventuring psychic, so I could pick 2 skills because none of the other ones really fit that I can really find that'd do the job.
So, I'm not on that page right now, but what does it say for adventurer on the psychic class page?
It's just any 2 skills, at least one of which must be a psychic class skill, which is page 21.
Okay, so read out to me your here I am. Yep. So what's your skills?
Sure.
Across the board then.
So if I go alphabetically, one would be culture, whatever our world is, which is granted by technician.
Yep.
Because I assume I won't have knowledge of any other skills.
Yeah, basically.
Any other worlds, pardon me. Exosuit at a 0. Now I haven't invested the adventuring psychic skills just yet. So what are my class skills? Combat, history, perception, tech medical, or tech sci-tech. I don't know if he'd know medical tech. That might be a bit strange. I could get a 0 in perception. I'll just quickly pop these in. And then I can double up. Maybe tech astronautic I feel like he'd be pretty solid in. So I'll give him an extra point there. No, tech post-tech actually. Cool. All right, so carrying on. Sorry. Perception would be a 0.
Sorry, hang on a sec. I got a bit lost. I was reading something else.
Yeah,
tech post-tech?
Yeah, so tech post-tech comes from 1 point from the background package, and then another point because I'm selecting it as part of adventuring psychic. That's the non-class skill that I'm choosing.
Yep, so that's 1, tech post-tech.
Yep. Perception's at a 0. That's wrong. Stealth shouldn't be at a 0. I'll fix that. Ignore stealth. Survival, that might also be wrong. Sorry, let me find the page.
That's right, because you mashed up the ideas from the urchin.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, so I'll take that out as well. Survival's also a -1. So yeah, tech astronautic is at a 0. Now it's all fixed now.
Okay, cool. I'm not looking at your sheet. I'm doing a spreadsheet
Yeah.
So I've got a one view of everyone.
Oh, just so you know that I'm reading out my skills again. So yeah, tech astronautic is 0. Tech post-tech's at a 1. And that is all she wrote.
Sweet. So the next stage for you is to go through your psychic abilities.
Sure.
Now, I'm going to have to assume that you've done some more reading, because I'm a bit weak in my knowledge of psionics in this system.
That's all right. It's pretty straight up at level 1. It's just you have one primary discipline that levels up as you level up, and then a secondary one that you can choose and level up as well by investing points in it. So, I mean, just to set the scene, Ellis's psionic abilities will be the fields of... Well, his primary one will be telepathy, and then secondary, for now at least, will be telekinesis.
Oh.
Yeah. I was going to go telekinesis primary, but I think telepathy primary is a bit more story interesting.
If I remember correctly, it doesn't matter what your primary is. It's effectively moot point, if I remember correctly.
I think so, because I think you can just level 2 up.
2, you get the
anyway, yeah.
Let's not get bogged down in that now.
No, it doesn't matter right now.
I'll reread up on it, and I know that there's some good posts on the Reddit SWN subreddit there. I'm gonna have to probably dig through on my commute in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, no worries.
So that's cool. So that means you've got what are the 2 skills then that gives you? You've got remote manipulation.
Yep. And empathy is the telepathic one. And empathy is just
remote manipulation.
See, remote manipulation is manipulate any object visible to unaided vision as if handling it with one hand. And then empathy is basically reading emotion, getting surface thoughts from the individual that it's focused on.
And what are your limits on how often you can use them?
I think it's just power points, so psionic points, which is going to be based on my character's role to a certain extent. I believe that just costs 1 point to cast, so to speak, because they're both just level 1 psionic skills.
All right. No worries. All right, so back to Rick, I think.
Yeah.
How did you go? Where did we leave you off at?
All right. First, tell me about exosuits.
Exosuits are a thing. Exosuits are like your spacesuits, so you can get around in 0G, I think.
Yeah,
Okay.
they have atmosphere and life support in them and that kind of thing, so you can go into space.
Getting sort of a power armor, with turbo lifter, aliens kind of thing vibe, if I'm not mistaken.
I guess you'd be able to, that's probably... Yeah, I guess so, yeah, definitely. I mean, there's nothing else that would fall into.
Will you allow them?
You want mechs, yeah.
Maybe your good friend Ellis has worked on one for you or something like that. I don't know.
Okay, because I'm just thinking all right.
It might not happen for a few levels, but you could definitely...
The problem with my character is we need to establish what you're going to allow in terms of what technology and vehicles would be available to us from the get-go. I'd like to do some sort of between town trading slash like shipping of supplies and whatnot, if that's at all possible, which is why I asked about land ships.
Okay. So I think, yeah. All right. So if we make one of the primary planets have two major cities,
Mm-hmm.
like pretty much on opposite sides of the planet or something like that, so that would make
Yep.
sense that there is, the desires to sort of roam the lands and do some spot mining or spot resource gathering and spot farming or stuff like that. So
Yep.
yeah, I think that makes sense. So I'm thinking back to like Alien. I think it's Alien 2.
Yep.
Oh, look, I can't remember actually. Aliens. Is that the one where they've got that wicked like rover that's like 8-wheeled rover thing?
Yeah.
They're zipping around the surface of the planet, I think.
Oh, you know it.
Yeah, is that you like that? Am I talking the right language?
Oh, I like that. I like that. I'm just gonna see. I'm gonna get a visual just to make sure. I'm gonna search it as tank because I think yeah, baby, the M577 armored personnel carrier is probably what we're talking about here. I'm gonna just like throw you a saucy little visual in Slack here so you can fully appreciate the majesty of this thing.
It's pretty military though.
Well, you can unmilitarize it. You make it a little bit. If we can just like slither back just for a hot second back to Mystery Men references, I wouldn't be above the idea of the Herkimer battle jitney, which looks a little bit more utilitarian.
You heard the man.
Yeah, the what now?
The
Herkimer
battle jitney. Hold on.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
that's just
Herkimer
letters
battle
you've thrown together. Oh no, here I go. I found it. Yeah, see that's more on track.
Right? It's like the love child of a tank and a bus with a truck.
Dub. Yeah. I think I have to go watch Mystery Men, obviously.
Yeah,
but yeah,
that's
it's definitely way more on track to what it's probably like.
totally
Way less automatic weapons attached to the outside.
absolutely. Which then ties in with what my character's like, which we'll get to that when is appropriate.
Cool. So yeah, look, obviously I think there's some land vehicles, whether they're grav or on, house moving castle legs or just wheels. Like, I'm happy to entertain at that level of detail. Yeah.
Yep.
But definitely that makes sense.
Fantastic.
Especially on that scale. I thought you were thinking a lot bigger, but that's
No.
that's like maybe 4 or 5 people could fit in it and like a trailer load of stuff.
It's not a cargo.
Yeah,
cool.
Right.
Splendid. So will I be allowed to own something like this, or is it more likely I'm like working as a crewman on it, or I'm working for someone else who owns it?
It depends. So going back to the idea of the 5, I'm calling them streams, not factions, but the 5 streams of the colony. There's resourcing and supplies, there's engineering, there's science, there's the religion, and then there's, I guess, more of the diplomatic stuff. So it makes sense that maybe the resourcing and supplies stream have land vehicles and stuff like that. So yeah, you'd probably, you wouldn't be owning it outright at this point in time. It'd be definitely maybe you're potentially just the driver or something like that. So you'd have to have like your vehicle land or something as one of your skills. But yeah, you might usually work with a small crew and get up to a variety of missions and a variety of deliveries and stuff like that.
Totally. Totally. Okay.
So you're
Cool.
a gypsy in particularly in this world.
Yeah.
That's a good story thread for Ellis needing reason to know Guy as well, because he could just, if there's anything wrong with the vehicle, just swing past my shop and, establish
That's
a
right.
friendship that way.
Mm.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
that's
what's specifically your expertise in terms of the mechanicness?
Just like everything is, like a bit of everything is how
everything?
I imagine it. Yeah, because
post-tech.
whatever the
Okay.
colony kind of needs fixed, Ellis would always have a go at it. So, like particularly vehicles and machinery, but he's just a tinkerer, so
Yeah.
could most
I'm just
definitely.
trying to. Yeah, I'm just trying to think because I don't necessarily want to like step on your toes in that regard.
No, it
and
actually
be
just
like-
aligns really well, I think, without really
No,
impeding.
in the sense of because I was thinking of like being some sort of like mechanic engineer focused guy, but more in a like I know everything going on aboard this thing, and I know all its faults, and I just patch it up with duct tape.
Well, that could be a thing
And
too,
get it
but maybe we
just-
could just
Just
like
barely running.
maybe I just take an interest in it and we talk shop, but I don't actually,
Okay.
work on your vehicle as such. I just like,
Yeah.
hey,
Well,
guy, when you
maybe
gonna
when I
get
run
that
out of duct
shitbox
tape.
fixed kind of thing, but you never actually,
And bring it to you.
yeah, you never actually let me
Yeah,
work
yeah.
on it.
That could be a thing.
Yeah. There's a connection.
Can I
there.
I'll just jump in here? It'd be really awesome to round out, the team at the moment. If you thought about incorporating, where is it here? Computer stuff as well.
Oh, hacks.
So if I just scroll down a bit, operating and programming computers as well as most advanced comms systems. So, like
I was going to say I can swap my my combat primitive for computer stuff.
computer. All right, well, keep it as it is for the moment. Just I want to let Rick have a think about it because I'm thinking, what's that movie, the End of the World movie?
You'll have to be more
20.
specific.
Yeah, the one with is it? I'm forgetting
You
everyone's
thinking
name.
of like
It's getting late.
2012? Is that what it's called with John
Yeah,
Cusack,
2012.
I think, in it?
Yep, the
2012
Cusack one.
time attack.
And then who's White Man Can't Jump guy? Guy?
Now you're going a little far back.
Wesley
for me.
Snipes,
No,
Woody
the other guy.
Harrelson.
Yeah, Woody Harrelson's character from 2012.
2012.
Well, I'm
Are you thinking of
envisaging.
Zombieland?
No. 2012 is like the end of the,
Yeah, Roland Emmerich. It's like a Roland Emmerich thing.
I know hang on. 2012 cast. Keep talking.
Charlie Frost is his character. So he's effectively the conspiracy theorist who's got his pirate radio station out of his combi, and he drives around and he knows how to hack in a whole bunch of different stuff remotely, and he's definitely a fringe dweller. But I kind of getting that vibe, and he just survives, like he's a survivalist. But he somehow manages to know how to broadcast pirate radio and hack into stuff, and a bit of a computer nerd in a sense, but not like your typical Xbox nerd or anything like that. But
Yeah. I don't know. I could maybe stretch it to like some sort of electronics focus, like analog stuff. But I feel like the computer specific stuff is too
not on
whack
track.
for what I had in mind. I don't know.
I've got a feeling that what you've got in mind and what Kluger's rolled up are probably really similar. So I'm just trying to look for ways to round it out.
I could tweak
round
out
the- round
of
the-
like test. I could go
No,
out
no,
of
no,
tech extra
don't-
work and into computer.
Don't you guys go changing. Is that the only other thing that you're suggesting I go after in terms of
Um,
rounding things out?
No, I'm just having a quick scroll through.
I mean, bearing in mind, we'll level up as well, so like
Mm.
skills flesh out pretty quickly if we want to take it down
So if
different
this- if-
avenues.
Mm.
So there's if I'm also kind of thinking engineering is a thing. So there's I guess there's two parts of engineering. There's designing stuff and actually being a mechanic as well. I'm just
Yeah.
wondering how we factor that in. Was maybe not.
They'd pretty much fall under the same
'Cause
roles,
I guess-
though.
Just reading through like some of the ones that we're missing. I'll just read out the things that we're missing if that's cool.
Yeah. Do it.
Athletics, bureaucracy, business. Where have we got here?
Business is absolutely something I can cover.
Yeah.
Business.
Steward. What's that?
Business.
Characters training, managing wealth and property. No, that doesn't really make sense. Security, stealth.
I think James has got
Vehicle.
some stealth, doesn't he?
Yeah, I've got a 0.
Religion.
Shh.
But you know what? I think for the most part, there's going to be some crossover with either of those two guys,
Yeah.
because James has got the some of the combat stuff, and so I'm just trying to think as well, when we get to like level 2, level 3, and you guys start jet setting around the sector, you're going to want to like, I hear what you're saying, Kluger, like you can level up and stuff, but
Yeah.
just trying to think early days, what's gonna be useful for the first couple of levels.
We can roll at a negative modifier. I mean, worst case scenario. And
Oh yeah, for sure.
And Ellis could feasibly go into like a more computer techie sort of thing, because he's just a tech head. I just don't have the points to invest across so many skills at level 1. But I could go down that path.
And we've got two experts as well, yeah?
Yeah, so that's 2
Hang on.
rerolls.
So we've got 2 rerolls.
Would it make more sense for me to be a soldier instead, or whatever you call it, a warrior, whatever it was, and focus more on that side of things and less on the
Expertise.
the mechanics, like handsy skills kind of thing?
I wouldn't necessarily say so. In terms of the colony and stuff, being a warrior wouldn't make a whole lot of sense.
That was my first thought. Yeah.
Yeah. But
it's an archetype, right?
Yeah. Well, as you said, those skills we can kind of learn as we go along.
Just so you get an idea of what I was thinking.
Yeah.
It's basically William T. Riker commanding a cargo jitney held together with duct tape across.
Just had
the
a
front
thought.
land.
What if you were the pilot? Because we don't have a vehicle space at the moment, so you could just be like mad vehicle everything. You could just know how to drive anything.
I love it. I love where this is going. Give me fucking
cool.
exosuits with just ridiculous claws. Give me a jitney. Give me a spaceship. I'll take it all.
You'd
I've
feasibly
already got.
vehicle skills.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Callaway's
I've
got
already
navigation.
Yeah. I can be the navigator.
Boom.
And then
basically you got the
Ellis
Bellways.
is the engineer who can go like try and post tech. Give me some extra power.
Yeah.
I'm trying.
Mhm.
And Guy's the pilot. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
Cool.
that's
I think we're
really
sorted.
rounds out. So
Done
let's
and
just
done.
have a quick look then at your background packages. What makes sense here?
Yep.
Is pilot a background package?
I think
Pretty
there's
sure it is.
something very similar.
Soldier.
No, there is.
No, that's a training
pilot's
package.
It's
training.
an excerpt
Pilot's
pilot,
training package.
Yeah.
expert training package.
Astrogator's mate Scavenger fleets. So you could have been part of the yeah, that's got navigation. I'm not.
If we double up, I mean, it just helps with certain things. I mean, one could roll navigation to
This
help
is-
the other, for example. Like, having strength in one
Transport
area
specialist.
can make
There
up for
it is.
weaknesses.
Yeah, I just saw this. I just saw the same
Transport
thing.
specialist.
Transport specialist.
Done.
But instead of navigation, I'll give you a second vehicle.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So you can have combat gunnery, which means you know how to fire shit out of vehicles.
Great.
Culture world, which makes sense, and then 2 vehicles.
Pilot
I think
also
we've solved
grants
the puzzle,
vehicle skills, by the way,
Fellas.
if you go down
That's
that
cool.
path. Also
Mhm.
grants 2 vehicles, so you could have one. You could have a skill of 1 in 2 vehicles, because you'd have double up from your background and training packages.
And
Which
you'd
would be
have a
pretty
skill of 1 in gunnery as well.
Mm,
Shit.
pretty pimp.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty pimp.
It's almost like a purist pilot as well in terms of archetype.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the power comes from my Riker-style beard. It's going to be beautiful.
Sweet.
All right,
Can you
hey,
tell that I've just started watching Next Generation?
just real quick, the stream's reached that point where it starts crapping out, so I'm just going to reboot us, and we'll be back up in 1 sec.
Okay.